the spinach in there. We got that grilled chicken over to the side. We got our homemade Alfredo sauce with a little bit of shredded Parmesan. Oh my God. Hey y'all, thank you for tuning in today. I am your chef, Chef Jazina Maria, and today I am making my signature famous pasta. Yes, my pasta is going to consist of, you can use actually any type of noodles. Today I am using spaghetti noodles. You can use penne noodles, you can use bow tie pasta. I am using some grilled chicken. Also, I'm throwing in some shrimp. And if you are allergic to seafood, you can always substitute your seafood for more meat. You can add more chicken, more sausage, different things like that. I also have butter that we're going to be using. I have a whole pint of heavy cream we're going to be using, along with some homemade chicken stock. I have dry parsley, a blend of Italian seasonings, and I also have some complete season, which is my favorite. I love complete seasoning. And I also have about 3 to 4 teaspoons, heaping teaspoons of minced garlic. If you don't have minced garlic and you have fresh garlic, I always love fresh garlic, but today I didn't have fresh garlic, so I went ahead and substitute. I also have a blend of Asiago cheese to make the cheese sauce, along with some Parmesan and a little bit of mozzarella. And then I have my fresh spinach to the back, which is only an 8-ounce bag of spinach. Right here, like I had mentioned earlier, I have some tomatoes. Now these tomatoes were frozen. These are Medley tomatoes that you can use in your salad. And I love these tomatoes because they come in all different colors. I have a little bit of purple here, a little bit of orange, some yellow. And so what I did, I had a lot of extra tomatoes and I didn't want them to go bad. So I end up just slicing the tomatoes down the middle, and then I put them in the freezer. So whenever I want to make pastas or some omelets or different things like that, any type of pasta dish, I always have frozen tomatoes on hand. So let's get started. Okay, we're going to start off by filling a pot full of water, and we're going to allow the pot to boil. Whenever I am making a pasta, any type of pasta, I always like to use a little bit of extra virgin olive oil, and just a little bit. You don't have to use that much, but I like using olive oil to my water so that my pasta do not stick. This pot has been boiling for a few minutes, and actually you know when it's ready because it starts to bubble up, the water starts to boil, and the smoke starts to come off of it. So it's time to put your pasta in. And actually I'm using about, I want to say I had already used this box, so I probably am using like a little less than half of the pasta noodles. And it all depends on how many people you're cooking for. And as far as the water that I put in, I just put in like a little bit, half a pot of water. And you can also follow the directions on the back of your box. It tells you, it just depends on how many ounces of pasta that you're using. And I also like to use, not only do I use oil, but I also like to use a little bit of salt in my pasta. So I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of that around in there. And you want to salt the water before you put the pasta in, which I should have did that at first. And so we're just going to let this boil, come to a simmer, which isn't going to take that long, and then we can take it off. Alrighty, I am checking my pasta right now. It's been about 7 to 10 minutes. Normally what you want to do, you want the pasta to be al dente. And what al dente means, it means that when you taste the pasta, it just has just a little bite. You don't want to overcook the pasta, because what I'm going to do, I'm going to mix the pasta in with the rest of my meat and my veggies, and we're going to let it cook a little while longer. So once the pasta looks like this, and actually you can take a little piece of it and try it, but once it looks like this, you know it's just about ready. So what I want to do, I am going to take this pasta, I'm going to turn this eye down. I'm going to take this pasta over here, and you want to rinse the pasta off in running water, in warm water actually. sure we get all that pasta in here. And if you want to rinse the pasta, and sometimes what I like to do, and actually I should have mentioned this to you guys earlier before I poured out all the water, it's always good to use the water that the noodles have been boiling in, because if you need extra water when you're making like your cheese sauce or anything like that, you want to use the water that the pasta is boiled in. And actually it just gives it more flavor. And so what I normally try to do, I just rinse the pasta off in warm water. I don't want my noodles to stick, so I just rinse them off. You don't want to rinse them off in cold water, because if you rinse them off in cold water, the pasta is going to stick together. And that's the purpose of us having the olive oil or any type of oil you want to use in the pasta, so that the pasta doesn't stick when you're boiling it. So I just basically rinse the pasta out. And see how gorgeous the pasta looks? That's good enough. You don't need to do anything else to this pasta. Now that we have the pasta already completed, just set the pasta over to the side. We're going to combine our ingredients into this one skillet. I have my eye over here on actually a low, because we're using butter and we don't want the eye too high, because your butter tends to burn really, really quick. So we're going to take the butter, and actually I have about 4 slices of butter. And this is real butter, and it's very important to use real butter. If you don't have real butter, you can use margarine or whatever you have at home, but I love the flavor of real butter. And actually this is salted butter. And I love salted butter because you don't have to add extra salt. And it gives it more flavor. We want to go ahead and add those beautiful shrimp. Now these shrimp have already been deveined, and I took the tails off. You can purchase shrimp that are already deveined with the tails off, but I got the ones that had the tail on. Shrimp does not take that long to cook, so we just want to put these in here for just a couple of minutes. And actually I am going to add my Italian blend seasonings to these shrimp. And if you have any type of like Cajun seasoning you want to add, you can always make this a Cajun pasta. You can make it your own. But these are Italian. It's just Italian blend. And what it has in it, it has a little bit of crushed red pepper. It has Italian seasoning. It has basil. It has a little bit of sun-dried tomatoes. And it doesn't have any salt. So this will be real, real good for someone that is trying to watch their salt intake. See how pretty that looks? Takes no time to cook, because actually shrimp cook so quick. You don't want to overcook them. When they start turning pink and they start curling up, you know it's time to take these bad boys out. And again, if you are allergic to seafood, you can always substitute. So instead of putting the shrimp in here, you can just substitute it for whatever meat that you're using. And I'm just going to cook these just for a couple of seconds. Turn this eye up just a tad bit, and we're going to take these out, because again, they're going to cook again in the pasta. So you don't want to overdo it. And these shrimp, also these shrimp are pre-cooked. So I'm just putting a little bit of heat to them. Alrighty, I'm getting ready to take these little babies out. Y'all see how cute that looks? I am into everything looking pretty, because we taste with our eyes before we taste with our mouth. Y'all see that? God, it smells so good in here. Mm-hmm. How gorgeous is that? Okay, we're going to set this over to the side, and then we're going to add our meat. And again, the meat is already cooked as well. We're just basically heating this meat up. We're going to add our tomatoes. How gorgeous is that? And my tomatoes were frozen. So once they start thawing out, then all of that water, I left that in the bowl because we want to have a little bit of juice in here. And even if you need to add some more juice to yours, you can add some chicken stock. But as of right now, I don't need to add anything else. And then we're going to add this whole 1/8 ounce of parsley. We're going to turn our eye up a little bit more. I mean, not parsley, I'm sorry, spinach. I'm going to add our spinach. Whole 1/8 ounce bag of spinach. Alrighty, our spinach has cooked down. We have our tomatoes that have softened. Oh my goodness, y'all see how gorgeous this looks? Okay, so once that has cooked down, and then also the spinach has made water too. Y'all see that in there? That's all the water from those tomatoes and that spinach. So you really don't need to add anything else. And everything that I'm doing here today, you can always substitute. If you're vegetarian, you can substitute this for veggie crumbles or jackfruit. Or you can just eat it vegetables. You can just do the tomatoes, add more vegetables to it, bell peppers and onions. You can substitute the meat. So you don't necessarily have to add meat to it. I am going to have several different shows where I am cooking strictly for vegetarians and also for vegan. You have a lot of people that are gluten-free as well. So I am going to have a lot of different options on my cooking show. So we're going to have a lot of fun, guys. Alright, so the next thing we're going to add, we're going to turn this down. I had it on kind of a medium-high heat, but I'm going to turn it down to a low. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to add our garlic. And the reason that I didn't put the garlic in there at first is because this garlic is minced garlic, and garlic tends to burn really, really quick. So once it starts sweating down the spinach and also the tomatoes, I wanted to add the garlic to it because we don't want our garlic to burn, because that will not be a pretty sight and a pretty taste. God, it smells so good in here. Is that gorgeous or what? See how easy that is? I am going to have y'all cooking like a gourmet chef in no time. Alrighty, the next thing we're going to add, we're going to put our complete seasoning over in here, and we're just going to add about half of this because I want to put the rest of it in my sauce. And what the complete seasoning is, I found this seasoning in a Mexican aisle, and it has a little bit of everything in it. It doesn't have a lot of salt, but it has a lot of flavor. If you want to use like an all-purpose seasoning or a salt-free seasoning, you can do that. I am going to be coming out with an all-purpose seasoning pretty soon, and it's going to be called FAVA Flavors, which is going to be my spice line that's going to be coming out within the next couple of weeks. So if you all are interested, you're going to be able to order this on my website. along with my cookbook that's actually on Amazon as of right now. It did go #1 when it came out. It was the #1 newest release. My cookbook can be found on my website at www.chefjazinamaria.com. Alrighty. So what we're going to do, we're going to turn this on low a little bit more, and then we're going to sit this over to the side. Let me grab another pot holder. Alrighty, take a look at that. That is absolutely gorgeous. Alrighty, we have set our mixture over to the side where we have our minced garlic, we have our chicken, our tomatoes, we have our fresh spinach, and we have all the ingredients in here. They are married together. They look so lovely. We are going to start on our sauce. So what we want to do right now, what I did, I sliced about 4/6 of butter. We want to put that in your pot. I'm going to turn this down because remember, butter tends to burn. It melts really, really quick. Turn this down really low. Then we're going to go ahead and add, I have 2 cups of stock right here, and you can use any type of chicken stock. I didn't have chicken stock today, I ran out. So what I did, I took some chicken bouillon, and I took about probably 4 tablespoons of chicken bouillon, because you want to use 2 tablespoons to each cup. So I have 4 tablespoons of chicken bouillon in here, and then I just use water. And if you have chicken that you have already pre-boiled, you can use that stock. So I'm going to slowly add this to my butter. And you don't have to use a whole lot of seasoning to this dish because chicken bouillon, the sodium content is so high. And even if you're using chicken stock or chicken broth, you can always use the unsalted, the very low sodium. And I'm going to turn the heat up just a little bit. And then I am going to pour in my heavy cream. And I have a whole pint of heavy cream is what I'm using for this dish. And normally when I'm using, making like a white sauce, I'll use just a little tad pinch of nutmeg, which helps it give it more flavor. But because I used all those Italian spices, I didn't have to use that. And then once you get all that incorporated, I am going to slowly add in my cheese. And it's always good to shred your own cheese, because the cheese that they have at the supermarkets, they have like a little film on them, and I always like to get my fresh cheese and shred it myself. They have like a wax on them. And I guess they use that wax, they put that wax on the cheese, I guess to preserve it or something, I'm not for certain. But and I just mix that around. And the mozzarella, I don't use a whole lot of mozzarella in this dish because what happens is that the mozzarella tends to clump. You see that? So you have to continue to stir it. but it's going to turn into a nice, lovely cheese sauce. And then I am going to add dry parsley. If you have fresh parsley, you can add fresh parsley. And I'm just going to use half of this. And then I am going to add the rest of the seasonings to here. And that's the rest of the complete that I had left over. So we're going to continue to stir this for probably about, I want to say about 5 to 6 minutes. I'm going to turn that eye up just a little bit. Now, if you're going to turn your eye up, make sure you continue to stir. Because if you turn the eye up, what's going to happen is that it's going to burn at the bottom if you don't continue to stir. And then you don't want your cheese to stick and burn. Alrighty, we have our sauce all made up. See how lovely that looked? Look at that consistency. Look at that. And that's that dry parsley that we put in there. Yeah, that's some good Alfredo sauce. Yes. Okay, and then we have our spinach and chicken mixture over here. We're going to turn this eye back up a little bit. And then we're going to add our pasta. You see how once it tends to sit, it tends to stiffen up. So we're going to mix everything, get everything incorporated together. And actually, let me use my spatula. Whenever you're using any type of stainless steel, whenever you're using your skillets, the stainless steel tends to scratch up your skillet. So whenever I'm cooking, I always try to use rubber or either wood. Wow, look how beautiful that looks, y'all. Oh, that garlic smells so good. I hate y'all can't smell this, I'm telling you. See, now the pasta is starting to loosen up. Y'all see that? And so now, what we want to do next, we are going to start adding our sauce. And we're going to add the shrimp last, because remember, the shrimp are already done. So we're going to start adding our sauce. So let me get a spoon out of here. And then we're going to bring this closer. And we're going to slowly add our sauce. We're going to mix this in together. Oh my goodness. Now we're going to add our shrimp. Oh my God. Y'all can't tell me this don't look delicious. Ooh wee. Yes, honey. I'll turn this eye up a little bit more. Y'all see that? How gorgeous is that? Full of flavor. And you don't have to necessarily use all your cheese sauce. If you want extra Alfredo sauce, then you can put extra on there. But you see, I only ladled in like a couple of spoons, and you see how lovely that looks? Look at that. You got your chunks of meat in here. You got your garlic. You got your shrimp. You got your chicken. You got the tomatoes. All this goodness wrapped into one pot. I'm telling you. All this goodness. Alrighty. We are ready to plate this. See how much extra sauce I got left? If you want to add more, you can. But this is good enough for me. Now we have everything all plated. Look how gorgeous that looks. So what I have over here, I have a little bit more of a Parmesan cheese that I've shredded. So I am going to add just a tad bit of that cheese on there. Yes. Sprinkling it around, make it look lovely. Look at that presentation, y'all. How gorgeous is that? And then I also left a little bit of that spinach that I had left early, and I want to go ahead and just stick that on there. Then throw a little bit of more of that Parmesan. How gorgeous is that? And the best part about this is that I get a chance to taste what I've created. Yes. Look at those big pieces of shrimp. Oh my God. When I tell y'all, this right here, you would have thought I went to Italy. This is absolutely delicious. We got the spinach in there. We got that grilled chicken over to the side. We got our homemade Alfredo sauce with a little bit of shredded Parmesan. Oh my God. This is absolutely delicious. Absolutely delicious. This is another one of Chef Josina Maria creations. One of my signature pastas. Thank you for tuning in to my channel. Like I mentioned earlier, this is my cookbook, FAVA, the cookbook made to feed your soul. If you like what you've seen today in this video, please subscribe to my channel. You can click on the link below, give it thumbs up, and also the website to this book will also be in the description box, and you can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and also TikTok. And my website again is www.chefjosinamaria.com, and Instagram is @chefjosinamaria.com. Until the next time, thank you for tuning in, and thank you for watching me cook all this goodness wrapped into one plate. Yes, honey. Have a good one.